Welcome to Buckets of Bubbles on the Road. Welcome to me sat in Chapel Allerton, which is a nice place if you ever want to come see a nice bit of Leeds. Today is Saturday. It is the day before we play Leeds at home, and the day before Tottenham play Everton. And I think I'm kind of resigned to slightly the Championship. I think that's the most probable outcome, not the most likely, but I think that's the most probable. I think there's two different things there. So.
Welcome to Buckets for Bubbles. Mike sent a video, as you can see, because we thought we couldn't get together because he's on the road, I'm here, there and everywhere, and we just couldn't get together even virtually. So we thought, well, we needed to do something to try and finish off this thing that we started at the beginning of the season, which I'm hoping will continue next season as well. So we thought we'd do a quick preview video, but this was the only way we can do it. So essentially, I'm doing a watch along of the video that he sent in to me. So let's see what he's got to say. Although he just said there were probable, most likely, and most probable, which are two different things.
Every permeation bar 2 means that West Ham get relegated. Those two are Tottenham lose and West Ham win, or Tottenham draw and West Ham beat Leeds by 13-0. So, you know, every other permeation.
Make for an exciting game, wouldn't it? 13-0, I reckon. Could that happen? Doubt it.
Graham Potter is a shit manager and absolutely ruined us at the start of this season. And Julian Lopetegui gutted this squad when he took over, and therefore anybody with any nounce was taken out. But you know, this is the board's issue. These are their choices and their appointments, and they are the ones who bear the blame for this. And I feel like it's one of those where, regardless of whether we stay in the...
Until he goes on to talk about what he feels like, I feel slightly odd doing this because I mean even Mike's tone. I've not actually spoke to him for a while, but his tone just is like, oh my god, I've got so much empathy. It's like, I've had enough. You know, that grief is setting in.
And I feel like it's one of those where, regardless of whether we stay in the Premier League, like I'd love to stay in the Premier League, I still think the board have and always will have it will have to answer for the state. Like, they looked into winning that trophy. Everybody goes, yeah, but under Moyes you did blah blah blah, and you won a trophy and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, true, yeah, factually we did those things.
Yes, you did do those things. Definitely. And Moyes is going to have a big say in what happens today as well, I would imagine. Well, not imagine, because they're playing Tottenham, aren't they, today? At New White Hart Lane, or whatever that is that they call that spaceship of a stadium. But you did win a trophy. Is there an element of just, you know, the grass is greener?
We had a very good loan of Jesse Lingard, which catapulted us up the table into the European spots. And the fact that we had a similarly decent, and we had Declan Rice, you know what I mean? How much I fucking hate that bloke these days, because he's just a fucking Arsenal twat. And especially after that Arsenal game when he absolutely did one.
Tell us how you feel about Declan
with
Rice.
the penalty and all that stuff. That guy can get fucked. You know, we looked into that European run, those 3 seasons in Europe. We really did, and the board will point at that and go, look, we were right. It's like, fuck off. Everything you've done, you've overspent on mediocre players who, you know, you look at how many of our players are out on loan, or ones that are just not playing. So you look at Maxwell Cornet, you look at, I mean, Max Kilman's not playing, £40 million.
Spent a lot. Absolutely. I mean, we'll talk about this definitely in the last show that we do to round off the season. But so much money being spent on so many very, very, very mediocre players.
Fulkrug is out on loan, and he's coming back to us. He's not earned a permanent move because he's shit, and he's best part of, you know, 40 million quid. They've done that on a couple of occasions, kind of gone, yeah, but we'll appoint this person who isn't right. They've always kind of played it safe, but have begged ambition, and those things just don't mix. I'm really up for it, and I'm really gutted I'm not actually going to watch the game live. I'm at Slam Dunk Festival, and so I'm going to be really drunk in a field in Leeds.
It's probably for the best, I reckon. I reckon. Although I do need to ask him because it's not that long ago that he was sober. I mean, not in a program or anything like that, but just not drinking alcohol. So I knew he'd. Anyway, that's a conversation for another time.
And I've been and bought a thing so I can keep my phone charged, a power bank, that's what they're called. I've been and bought a proper power bank that's not dangly on cables and stuff, so I can at least, check on the scores and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be nervy. I'm hoping to be drunk. It's going to be very nervy. I'm thrilled Mavropanos has got Hammer of the Year. I think he's still going to leave regardless.
Now, would we want Mavropanos at Leeds? I think he's a decent player. He's just a bit of a head case. But, don't know. I don't know what I don't know what his temperament is like. I don't know what he's like in the dressing room. But he asked me a question at the end of the last episode in my minute of which players. Definitely Hernandez is a player I'd have at Leeds, and possibly Mavropanos, because I think he's a decent defender.
A year in the Championship, everybody says this, do us good, get rid of the dead wood. And, that's not always the case. Sheffield, you can point at them. Leicester, you can absolutely point at them and say this is not how. They'll have gone down to the Championship on a couple of occasions and thought they'll bounce straight back. We did it under Allardyce. We almost did it under Pardew. It took us a couple of seasons to get back.
We did it. Although, yeah, but that was a bit of a nightmare. I wonder whether we came back a bit quicker than you would have expected because of what happened financially.
Leeds have done it. Leeds have gone down, spent a couple of seasons there and come back. There is scope for that, but I feel like that needs different ownership. And it may not mean, because like Daniel Kuczynski, he has as much to blame for this as David Sullivan and Karen Brady. Karen Brady's gone. There's there's temporary people on the board. It feels like there's going to be movement towards new ownership or at least new board. I wouldn't even mind that if they just employed people who made the decisions rather than David Sullivan and Daniel Kuczynski.
Is that I wonder if that's the difference. I wish he was here for me to ask. I wonder if that's the difference between Tottenham and West Ham, actually. That I think I'm right in saying that Tottenham's ownership is pretty stable and they've got money. So if they went down to the Championship, you would imagine that they'd go and they'd come straight back up because they'd get rid, obviously, but they'd hold on to a few players and they'd probably spend. Likewise, staying in the Premier League, you would imagine that now they've got the manager in place that they'd kick on because he's a decent manager. You wonder whether West Ham can do that because of the financial constraints and also the fact that the ownership is just so up in the air and the fan base is just getting more and more toxic.
Kuczynski's slightly better, but he's very much protecting an asset rather than wanting a football club to do well. You look at Red Bull and they want their teams under their model to do well because it's good for the brand, and they have the money. Whereas Kuczynski's like he just wants to make his bank balance bigger.
First of all, I don't know whether he's referring to the fact that Red Bull are involved in Leeds, but it might be getting slightly confused that they don't own Leeds yet. It's not the Red Bull Stadium yet, although we're all fearful of it. It's the 49ers. I imagine he means the 49ers and Red Bull. I mean, they've got money behind them.
This is 7 minutes, and I do this a lot. I talk for a lot, but yeah. So tomorrow I'm gonna be.
I'll edit it. Don't worry.
I'm hoping for a big day. Jared Bowen has said the right thing. I love what David Moyes said in the week. I feel like I'm slightly buoyed by that.
It was good that actually. I'm assuming he's referring to Moyes saying that every place in the Premier League is worth, 2 to 3 million quid, and 2 to 3 million quid per place. If you think about it, it's a lot. When we think about James Justin, I think James Justin cost 7 million, 8 million, something like that, around that anyway, less than 10. 2 places in the Premier League is a well, not quite 3 places, but you get the point. It's a player's contract, isn't it? So So yeah, Everton, even though they haven't got Europe to play for anymore, they've certainly got the pride and the money to play for. And also people, the Everton fans, the Everton players, and I imagine Moyes will want to go to Tottenham and do their bit to relegate Tottenham, you would think. Not because they want to relegate them, but because I just don't think players turn up or, kind of are on the beach or whatever. I just don't think they do. I mean, there could be an element of players going to the World Cup thinking, I don't want to get an injury. I'm not sure where Everton stand on that, but I imagine they've got a couple that are going away, you would think.
Which is what I talk about likeliness and probability. So I feel like the likeliest result will be Everton win and West Ham win. Just because of the way that...
Hang on, I'm going to wait for the just because. And I was nodded away. That West Ham win and Tottenham win. Tottenham have won twice all season at home. I don't know what makes you think that Tottenham are going to win. I honestly believe today that Tottenham will lose. And I could be wrong, because they're going to fight. And he'll make sure that they fight. But they weren't great against us. We had a weakened side. They weren't great against Chelsea. And they weren't terrible, but they weren't great. If they don't get an early goal or the first 15, 20 minutes, or Everton put pressure on them for the first 15, 20 minutes, I think it's going to be hell in that stadium. Now, I wonder whether the players have got the fight in them. Now, you say, the captain going away and watching whatever he's watching instead of being there. And I wonder, especially if West Ham, if you, I'd say you, West Ham, come at Leeds and score an early goal or getting a goal in the first 15, 20 minutes and nothing is happening at Tottenham, I think their crowd is going to turn really quick. I think it could be. I think the more likely result, when you look at the form, is Tottenham to lose and West Ham to win or draw, but the draw won't be good enough. Our away record isn't brilliant, but we don't lose. So, and the problem is a draw's not good enough for you. So actually, the more I think about it, I can see Tottenham losing and you drawing, which still means West Ham go down. But apart from that, I think the other likely result is Tottenham lose and West Ham win. And in many respects, although, us winning will take us a couple of places up the league, and like I've said, that's a few million quid into the transfer kitty, which, we need. I'd still quite like that. That'd be good end of season drama.
Everything seems to work out. So like Tottenham, De Zerbi's, gone mental. That's their captain's fucked off to go watch a game in Brazil. I think it's River Plate or something like that. He's gone to go watch them rather than watch the team that he's captain of survive relegation.
And I mean, when you think about that, it's just unbelievable, isn't it? It's unbelievable.
I know Leeds have got 6 players out and had their end of season meal this week, so they'll be on the beach, hopefully.
I don't think they will be, mate. I don't think they will be. But you never know.
And I think we'll be right up for it. We've got everybody fit. We've got everybody raring to go. And I feel like there's a lot to play for. There's absolutely a lot to play for.
I mean, that's a big thing. If you have got everybody fit, we haven't. We're patching a team together. I think Bogle might be back. Strike might be back. But they've had injuries and it's their first. So whether they'll start or not, I don't know. So we are patching a bit.
And I feel like regardless of how it goes, I feel like this is going to be a big transformational summer, for good or for bad.
Also, I'm just thinking about it, definitely transformational summer for our club as well, but definitely for West Ham and Tottenham. Whether you stay up or go down, massive transformational summer. But thinking about our injuries, we basically haven't got a midfield. I mean, Tanaka's okay, Ampadu's okay, but I think they're the only 2 midfielders who are fit. Longstaff has had surgery, a groin surgery, I think. I can't remember exactly what. But obviously he's been carrying something and they've thought, let's just get it done and then he'll be back for pre-season. Gruev is on crutches. So we're patching together.
Because, we could end up here next year in this same spot if nothing changes. A year in the Championship might be the thing, but it's a big risk. That's a big risk. Leicester are absolutely the one to point at for that. And even Luton, they had a year in the Premier League and gone straight down 2 seasons.
The finances are a worry because I think we'll be able to go again. Maybe spend, I don't know what do you get for another year? Is it another 100 odd million or whatever? So we'll probably spend that money. I mean, they've said that they will spend up to the PSR, whatever it is these days, because they've changed it now. We'll spend up to the limit. So, and you've got to just to keep moving forwards, because I think I was right in saying that the odds for staying in the league in your second season are more or less the odds for going down rather are more or less exactly the same as they are in the first season. So Sunderland will have to spend again. I'm sort of hoping that Sunderland gets European football, because that has proven to be a distraction for those clubs that haven't got the squads. Nottingham Forest, QPR, they've both got away with it this season. So I think Sunderland might struggle a bit more next season than they have this one, assuming they can hold on to all the players. Like us, I mean, there'll be loads of people in for, well, we'll talk about this in the final Buckets and Bubbles, but there'll be loads of people in for our players. Ampadu has been unbelievable, and Bogle has been unbelievable. Goodmanson, our 2 fullbacks, Stack, even. Anyway, Calvert-Lewin, we could go on.
Quite fancy a bit of Millwall and Wrexham. Just Wrexham, because I just think that'd be quite an interesting thing, because it's a huge fucking brand.
Wrexham,
these
not
days.
Millwall.
But yeah. Anyway, adios, and I'll catch you on the other side, and we'll know definitely what league we're in. Well done, Leeds. Absolutely stormed it, but yeah, adios.
See you, pal. Oh wow, it's a big day. It's a big day. I'm looking forward to it. 4 o'clock kickoff. What is there to be said about Leeds? On top of that, I've sort of mentioned bits and pieces. I think they'll be playing today. I think they'll play to win. Our record in London isn't great. So I reckon most likely outcome is a draw, but that's not good enough for West Ham. But I do think that there is enough in that West Ham side, as long as, and I don't think they're going to go gung-ho, because they'll get caught on the break if they do. But I think there's enough grit in that side to maybe get a win today. I mean, I'm torn. I want the 3 points. I want to finish at 50 points. I want to finish 14th, 13th or whatever. We can't finish lower than 15th, I don't think, which I'd have, snapped your hand off at that at the beginning of the season. But there is a small part of me that wants West Ham to stay up for 2 reasons. First of all, for Mike. And also so we can carry on Premier League Buckets and Bubbles. But also, West Ham, I think they will struggle next year because of the financial situation. So that's another team that's potentially fighting out a relegation battle, potentially with us again, although as it turns out, we weren't really in a relegation battle. With the teams coming up, I don't think Tottenham will be in that same position. But also, I think it'd be funnier to see Tottenham go down. As much as I've got Tottenham friends, I've got nothing against Tottenham fans. But just that big club, chopping and changing managers in that big new stadium, seeing them in the Championship, I think there'll be a load of Championship clubs, Millwall included, who will love to go there and stick it up Tottenham. It's going to be exciting. Make sure you like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff, and we'll see you with a final episode next week at some point. Adios.